Hey, it's your boy JB over here at JBswingtips. Today we're going to be looking at amateur golfer Bret LeBlanc. Bret has come to me, just been struggling with the game lately. He's put together a couple dusty 100 rounds, and that's not the norm for him. He's usually a high 80s, low 90s golfer. So we're going to look at it and see kind of what's going on here, see if we can help him out. First and foremost, a couple learning targets. So we're going to be looking at his setup. We're going to be looking at the swing dynamics and relationships. What's happening? How's his body moving? What is happening as a result of some of his moves that he is making in potential compensations? And then we're going to look at interventions. So what can we do to help improve his striking and consistency? So if we take a look at Bret here, right now he's in setup. All right, so we can go over here and kind of look at that. Couple things to note, and maybe what I'll do over here is put a line in for his head position, because we'll take a look at that. It's probably a good gauge to see where his head is at and see if it's moving in the swing. Should be, but we'll figure out what's happening. All right, so let's go over here, back to our video. Perfect. All right, so let's just watch the swing first, and then we will probably discuss it in more detail. Okay. One more time. Okay, let's stop it here. Let's get right back to his address position. All right, so first learning target, we're going to talk about his setup, okay? And maybe I'll go back to the pen thing so we can talk about a few things here. All right, first and foremost, let's look at Bret's setup. A couple things stand out to me. One is his spine angle. It looks pretty good, just slightly rounded. It's not, super straight. I think that's a good athletic position for him. His knees are slightly bent. Again, there's not an overly amount of bending in there, so he looks pretty balanced. Another thing that I'm looking at is his left foot. You can see his left foot slightly flared. His right foot, I believe, looks straight. However, there might be some flare to it. That's good when we're talking about balance in the golf swing. It's really important. If you can actually, instead of setting up your feet straight, if you flare them out just slightly, it's going to give you a little bit more balance, a little bit of stability, and hopefully improve your consistency in the golf swing. So that looks pretty good, Bret. One thing that does stand out to me, well, there's two things mainly that stand out to me here. Let's see if we can go into it here. All right. So first and foremost, let's look at Bret's arm position at address. All right. So when we're looking at the best golfers in the world, I'll pull it up on my pen thing here. We're looking at their arms to be about 90 degrees, right? If we're talking about this is a 90. You can see that Bret's arm location is slightly pulled out. Okay. So what does that mean? All right. That means that his right arm is extending a little bit, which is causing him to, pull his arms out across his chest a little bit. It's not horrible. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I think one thing that maybe we can help Bret with in terms of the consistency is getting his arms just more down like that. I'd like to see him pull his arms back. It appears to be that he's reaching a little bit in the golf swing, and that can lead to consistency, balance issues, playing issues, all sorts of things. And we'll see how that relationship kind of impacts his swing. And another thing, and this may be less obvious, but we'll talk about it. Let me put his head thing back here. There we go. This is a little bit less obvious and hard to see, but look at where Bret's shoulders are. All right. So when we're looking at the best golfers in the world, they're often setting up square to the target, and their shoulders are also square or maybe slightly closed to the target. What's closed mean? Well, close, let me get my pen thing out. Close to the target means that their shoulders are slightly pointing this way in the right hand direction. So the left shoulder's pointed towards the left a little bit. The right shoulders drop back over here just a little bit. I know those are exaggerated, but you guys get the point. When we look at Bret's shoulder position, it's hard to see in this video, but I guarantee you that Bret's shoulders are pointing a little bit more this way. Okay, so what does that mean? All right, that basically means that he's going to be more likely than not to have his path to the left. All right, so he's going to be cutting across the ball. So one thing that we might want to work on changing here, Bret, is making sure that your shoulders are square to your target line. All right. All right. Let's go back here. Let's zoom out. Okay. Now, here we go. All right. Let's get Bret to P1 here, and we'll take a look at kind of what is going on with P1. Okay. All right. So you see Bret set up here, right? We're going to see him take the club back. Let's look at that for a second. Oh, it's back too far. Let's go back. Okay. A couple things to note with the takeaway. It's on plane, right? But we can already see that the club face, right, is rolling open. You kind of see that toe more than you can see the heel. Not a lot of hip movement here either. Kind of just like a boxy takeaway. No real lower body movement for right now. I know it's early on in the swing. That's fine. But we can definitely see right away that Bret's club is rolling open, right? He's not even at P1 yet. There he gets sort of the P1. But you can see that club face really is rolling open, right? Let's get him to P1. Here's a P1. Yeah. So when we're looking at what we want to see, and I'll go back to kind of my markup here and get my pen tool out, we want to see this club face like that. It's a shitty line. We want to see it around parallel to your spine angle. Something also to note as I'm kind of looking at this too is that Bret stands up a little bit on his backswing. So let's go back. We'll take a look again. Go over here. Oops. Let's cancel that. Shit. Okay. Go back. There we go. Sorry, guys. All right, we're back. Let's go back and kind of see what's happening. So if you notice, Bret's upper body is moving this way. Big old guy. Holy shit. Okay. So that can create some issues because it's going to make it harder for Bret to get back into a good impact position. It might stall out his rotation a little bit. So, Bret, one thing maybe to work on too is having your chest feel like it stays down as you're taking the club back. It's another kind of thing I'm noticing right now. Whoops. Okay. Oh, we'll undo that. There we go. All right. So, all right, we have Bret. His club face is rolled open a little bit here. Let's keep going and see what else we can see. Let's get him to P2. Okay. I mean, that's on plane, right? It's not horrible. But here's where the death sentence happens, right here, all right? Let's watch as Bret gets to the top. Taking it back, right? Not a lot of hip rotation back. His upper body is basically doing all the work, and he's rotating around his spine. Makes it really challenging to rotate when you don't have your hips open, so your chest is going to do a lot of the work in your arms, and that's what's kind of happening here. We see Bret get to about parallel here. This isn't a bad-looking position. If we can get Bret to here, I don't think that's horrible. I think that's good, but watch what happens. You look like John Daly, buddy. Holy fuck. Look where that club head is. You can see it. Looks like John Daly. Now, John Daly is a great golfer, right? Amazing, talented. You know, we see a couple pros that are in a similar position to Bret. One being John Daly. Two, we can say that Phil Mickelson definitely gets across the plane. That's what's happening here. I think Ben Hogan is another one that, was slightly across the plane. This is very exaggerated, though. You have to do a lot of movements in the golf swing to square this fucking shit up, dude. So Bret gets super over the top. You can see the fucking butt of the club is pointing up to the sky here. I mean, the fact that you can even hit the ball is surprising to me. So good for you. You're very athletic, clearly. All right, so let's see what happens now coming through. So Bret's across the plane. You can see that left knee has bent, right? His right leg is straightening a little bit. right? He's loading all that weight onto that right side. His hips have opened a lot more here. Looks pretty good. All right, so let's see how Bret starts his downswing. So you notice Bret's left knee is going out, right? He's now transitioning his weight. This dude definitely played baseball at some point. Got a good weight transfer there. His right arm's dropping behind his body right now because he's got to square it up. He's in a tough position here. But you'll notice that he starts ripping down a little bit on the face here, or on the handle here, right? So what happens? All right. So now the compensation is because he's so long that his club starts getting, and he's trying to get it in front of him here, right? Here, let's watch that again. Watch that again. He's so long that his arms have a tough time catching up with his body here. And he starts pulling down on the handle to try and square up this golf club. We haven't even talked about where the face is in either of these positions. Maybe we'll get to P3 here. Let me see if I can get it here to P3. All right, we're going here. We're moving frame by frame. Okay, I'm having a tough time doing that, to be honest. Oh. All right. Oh, you know why? That's why. Okay. Let's see if I can freeze frame him here. It's hard because I requested this video in slow motion. I can't get there. Okay. I'll do my best here. You can see Bret's club face there. I know I'm having a little bit of trouble right now, but it's pretty fucking open. All right. His club face is definitely open. He's now extending his right arm because he's basically going to flip here to try and get this club to square up. Okay. He has to extend his right arm because he has literally no chest rotation, right? This is all arms Emerson right now. And he has to deliver this club like this, and you can see Bret's arm is fucking straight as an arrow at impact. His right arm, okay, because there's no upper body rotation at all. He's stalled out here, and he has to do something to compensate and square up that face. So, Bret, what's going to happen here because you're doing this? Okay, basically, what happens is you're flipping the club. You can already see that club flying forward, flipping the wrist through impact here. Right? You're going to have face issues here, contact issues. I definitely understand why you're hitting the ball left, right? Because if your path's left and you're also flipping, you're just so much more susceptible to rolling this thing over, starting at left, have it go left. You're dead. So that's just a little bit of what's happening. So interventions, right? What are we going to do to try and fix this? Overswings are tough. People get comfortable with them. It's a tricky thing to do. So here's what I want to do, and maybe we can go back to the setup and just try a couple simple things so we don't overload this guy. Feel like he has to change things all at once. But when we're going back to setup, I want Bret to maybe take like a half step, not even, towards the ball. That's going to get his arms to just drop more down. Oops, wrong one here. Try that again. It's going to get Jesus Christ. All right. It's going to get his arms to drop down more like that. It's going to be easier for him to, not feel like he's reaching for the ball and have to do some of these compensations. Everything else looks pretty good. And then maybe focus on getting that right shoulder just a little bit more out to your right. So you can encourage maybe a path out to the right or square. Another thing is that this overswing definitely needs to be looked at. Okay. So what I want you to do is you can take a few slow motion shots here. We don't need that anymore. Let's go back over here. Bret, I want you to take a towel and put it under your right arm because you're getting this huge flying elbow here that's like literally coming up. It's a very athletic position, but it's just hard to like be consistent here. And I want you to place it under your right arm. It's going to get you to just have a shorter swing. Like if we can get you into this position right here, buddy, you'd be fucking golden. Another one that I really like to do is, let me go back to my pen video, or my pen thing here. You can take an alignment stick and place it in your right shoulder. And when you take a turn back, you're not going to be able to, like the stick is literally going to block you from overswinging. And then what you can just focus on doing is coming through the shot and rotating with your like lower and upper body, so that right arm, like your impact position, your hands are like way out here, dude. Your right arm is like fully extended. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more bent at impact, and that's going to give you so much more consistency in terms of being able to deliver the club face neutrally. And then lastly, your takeaway. If we can focus on not having you roll that open so much, because you have to do so much to compensate if that club face starts when you take it away, to kind of square it back up. And that's why you're kind of flipping through. Like all these things kind of work together, dude. So if you can focus on maybe just doing a couple swings to P1. Let me go back to over here so I can show you what P1 is. If you can just practice and rehearse this, you just swing back up to like here or here, right here, and just focus on feeling like, and you can just look, right, and see if you can get that club face down there a little bit, just more like turned in. Maybe you can do this like with that alignment stick in your right shoulder. And then you can just focus on like actually rotating through the shot because you're flipping, my guy. Anyways, I think those are a couple good things that you could do. And yeah, hopefully this has been informative and I appreciate it. Take care, guys.